आपको 3 सिचुएशंस देती हूँ जिसमें नॉर्मल पेरेंट्स किस तरीके से बिहेव करते हैं। यू टेल मी हाउ विल यू यू नो डील विद दोज़ सिचुएशंस, पेरेंटिंग सिचुएशंस, ठीक है? सो फॉर एग्जांपल फर्स्ट सिचुएशन जहाँ बच्चा बिल्कुल नहीं खा रहा है, नहीं सुन रहा है, नहीं खाना, मुझे खाना नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है, तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे जनरली थोड़ी देर टीवी दिखा दी, खाना खिला दिया, कि खाना तो एटलीस्ट गया उसके पेट में।
So screen while eating is please complete no. उस पे मैं जा ही नहीं रही हूँ, लेकिन वो complete no है. Just get that very very clear. And second important thing, I would ask what I want for the child, at least to my own self. Do I want her to follow because I want her to eat, or do I want her to follow her own hunger? If you
बिकॉज़
want
ऐसा
it
हो
to,
जाता है ना कि अभी लंच टाइम है, सब खाना खा रहे हैं, तो आपको भी
so
खाना है।
simple boundaries, simple say कि अभी खाना सीधा 5 बजे मिलेगा. If you are not eating right now, no problem if you don't want to eat. But in between you may not get food. अगर खाना है, अगर आपको बहुत भूख लगती है, तो you can pick up a fruit and eat for your own self. But we may not be able to serve you, right? So boundaries, that is responsibility. वो नहीं खा रहा है बच्चा, तो ठीक है. But that doesn't mean that you are available all the time, right? But at the same time, for the child to have that freedom कि मुझे भूख लगे तब मैं खाऊं, वो भी जरूरी है. पर वो freedom responsibility के बगैर नहीं आएगी. So you put your boundaries very very crystal clear, and at the same time you respect your child's autonomy. That okay, the child is not feeling like eating right now, and that's okay. पर 5 बजे फिर खाना मिलेगा. Something like that, you need to check where you are available.
जैसे सेकंड सिचुएशन ऐसी होती है, बच्चा टैंट्रम थ्रो कर रहा है कि नहीं, मतलब मुझे तो ये चीज़ चाहिए ही चाहिए, रो रहा है, कंटिन्यूअसली रो रहा है, मुझे काम नहीं करने दे रहा है, मुझे आज ये लेके ही दो, मुझे तो आज ये बुक चाहिए या मुझे ये गेम चाहिए चाहिए चाहिए। मतलब पेरेंट इरिटेट होके फाइनली बोलते हैं हाँ ठीक है, मैं ऑर्डर कर देता हूँ या मैं तुझे ले देता हूँ।
See, for me, this scenario is not about a game or a thing that the child wants. It's about an unmet need. Okay, and we also need to understand what you are seeking for yourself is also power, control over your own life. That's the exact thing what the child is also seeking, right? So till the time emotionally child is not validated and the parent is not aware of what is the need, real need of the child. The need is not at all.
There is no need at all. बस वो जिद है।
हाँ, so जिद in the
उसने एक YouTube वीडियो पे देख लिया, मुझे ये चीज पसंद आ गई है।
Correct. So now we need to go, decode. अभी मुझे superficially in terms of behavior ये दिख रहा है that child is demanding one toy. पर उसका deeper need क्या है? He wants to feel in charge of his own life and his own choices. उसकी जिंदगी में क्या चीजें उसको चाहिए, क्या नहीं चाहिए, ये उसको decide करना है. So the more validation you give to the child and you tell the child that yes, I can see you really need it. What you like about the toy? मैं उसके साथ कनेक्शन बिल्ड करूँ ना, करेक्शन करने से पहले वो तो होता रहेगा लाइफ में, पर उसको तो पहले फील होने दो कि हाँ, माय मॉम इज देयर, हु इज फॉर होम माय नीड्स आर इम्पोर्टेंट.
एंड मैं थर्ड सिचुएशन देती हूँ, जैसे ऐसे हो गया कि हम बच्चे को क्लास से या स्कूल से कहीं से भी लेने गए हैं एंड हम लोग, मैं कार में बैठ गई हूँ फॉर एग्जांपल, बच्चे को बोल रही हूँ बैठ जा, कार में बैठ जा, बट नहीं, वो पीछे कुछ कर रही है, खेल रही है, बैठ जा 4 बार बोल दिया एंड आई सी अ कार और समथिंग कमिंग फ्रॉम बिहाइंड, मेरा हार्ट पाउंड कर रहा है, मैं तुरंत भागी पीछे एंड मैंने उसको पकड़ा, वो कार पास हुई, बट जो गुस्सा आया एंड आई हिट हर। तो ऐसी सिचुएशन में आप क्या करोगे?
So when it's road kind of a situation, when the life is on stake, nothing doing. You have to sit in the car. You have to sit in the car. But I also want to give you a disclaimer here. The child will understand the power of your boundaries and will respect your boundaries only when the child is emotionally feeling safe with you. The child has a trust in you कि मम्मी हर चीज़ में कंट्रोल नहीं करती, पर अगर कुछ चीज़ें हैं जिसमें it's non-negotiable, when mama is saying this, I have to obey. Simply because it's about my life. So I always say there are times when you have to say no means no, because it's a life-threatening situation. You can't वहाँ पे नहीं अच्छा बच्चे को explore करना है, road पे करना है. That's not how it works, right? It's simple. So situations like that requires your firm no. अभी बैठो means बैठो. But the effectiveness of that no will only work when the child knows that I'm not listening no again and again on a regular basis for anything and everything.
Okay.
right? So that again has a very strong connection with how emotionally they feel safe and how much trust they have in their parents.
So, for those who are listening to this term for the first time, unschooling, what is unschooling?
So unschooling, I put it like that, that it's not about whether you are going to school or not going to school. It's more about unschooling ourselves from the schooled thoughts that the society or parents or relatives or people around has given you for all these years.
Oh,
Tomorrow, if my child says that I want to go to school, the discussion will start from there and we'll understand the needs. What are the needs? Is really school fulfilling those needs? If the child is saying, I don't want to go to school, let's understand what are the needs. What is it that's not working out?
right.
And seeing school just as another option. It's very simple. अभी क्या है मैं सिग्नल पे खड़ी हूँ सब भाग रहे हैं everybody is running and I was like सब भाग रहे मैं I'm the only one who is not running. Is there something wrong with me, right? You start questioning yourself.
Exactly.
When I sat with my own self and when I started digging deeper, I realized किस रेस में भाग रहे? What is the destination of life? Tell me.
Success,
What is
achievement,
success? What is
money.
success? हाँ. So see again, how much money is enough? Nobody knows.
Nobody.
What is success according to you? Nobody knows. Achievement. What is achievement according to you? Nobody knows. Now, this all terms that we are using on a day-to-day basis are so relative.
Yeah.
For somebody, 500 crores is enough. For somebody, 500 rupees might be enough. For somebody, maybe 50,000 is enough.
Yeah.
And for somebody, maybe 50,000 crore is still not enough. तो कहाँ से ये सारे सेटअप्स ये रेफरेंस पॉइंट कहाँ से आए? इट केम फ्रॉम द अदर पीपल्स लाइफ.
फिर जैसे हम लोग जैसे अनस्कूलिंग वर्ड सुनते हैं ना तो वी फील अनस्कूलिंग मतलब स्कूल नहीं भेजना बच्चों को.
Technically the word says that only, but we have grown from that space. So when we started unschooling, we had that idea that okay, school is not designed technically to accommodate every different kind of children, and the way education system works.
So your elder one is almost 10, right?
हाँ हाँ.
So वो स्कूल जाता है?
नहीं
नहीं जाता है.
He has never been to school.
अच्छा, so what point did you decide कि मुझे अपने बच्चे को स्कूल नहीं भेजना है?
Again, see, we don't come from the space कि जहाँ पे मैं सोचती हूँ कि मैं मेरे बच्चे के लिए डिसाइड करूँगी. It's more like
because they were small, तो वो लोग तो अपने लिए डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते.
हाँ, so see, let's say initial 3-4 years, I am not a person who believes a lot in detaching your child physically from you, because there is a sense of security that children get in the home atmosphere, and that's the reason. If you know the best education system in the world, which is Finland, Finland clearly says that please don't send your children to school before age 7.
7.
Because initial years when the brain is developing, all the survival brain is looking for is sense of safety. Now imagine if you go to a new office. पहले महीने कैसा लगेगा? नए लोग हैं. How will you feel? Right? Of course, the safety factor is missing there.
Correct.
And then again in the rush mode of this life, parents want to introduce a lot of concepts and learning in very early age. तो वो लोग सोचते हैं प्री स्कूल भेज दो, ये भेज दो, वो भेज दो. So we have questioned all of these things. It's not that we are against anything, but we have questioned कि ज़रूरत क्या है उसकी अभी. I think very beautifully, all the children that I have come across in our unschooling journey, I've met so many unschoolers. Okay, some of them have never even given 10th, 12th and all, and they have set up their own business, and those amazing children.
So Vishruti, can you take us through your unschooling journey? As you said, your elder one is almost 10 years old अभी. So आपने कैसे unschooling start किया and what has your journey been? पूरा process.
So I think it all started with questioning. I personally feel from childhood only I had million questions in mind about everything and anything. So I feel personally I'm a very curious person. So when I conceived, I had these two major questions in my life. One, I was throughout my life in my schooling and all, I was ranker kind of a person. So 93, like 92% and all that. And science student, ended up with architecture. While doing architecture, explored radio. Then radio is something that felt like more calling. So for more than a decade, I worked in radio. So I kept asking myself that all the things that I studied in my school, why do I don't remember it now? Right.
Big
Because,
question.
yeah, so because I was very good with studies and all, so integration, derivation, all the math, science concepts, everything I used to do very well. So if I have been able to perform in my school or let's say in my exams, I should be remembering it right now, correct?
Correct.
But I was not able to. And second very important aspect was I was not able to connect those piece of information with the real life. So I didn't know any part of implementation with the same theories that I knew.
Okay.
So that was one question that I had, that why it is this way. Second question that I had was because at that time I was working with radio when my son was in the womb. I used to work with a lot of interns. So I was interacting with them, and every time that I meet anybody, I always ask that person, okay, what is it that you really love about life? You know, what is it that you really love doing? Because I'm a very passionate person.
Yeah.
If I do something, I do it with like, a lot of passion. So I said, what is your passion? And most of the children would come, oh yeah, the, CA is happening. Abhi sab ye kar rahe hai, to ye kar lenge. And I'm like, I'm not asking what's the trend right now. I'm asking what you love doing. And most of them had no answer. And that's where I started questioning ki, if you see a 2-year-old child, they are so crystal clear. I want to do drawing, but I don't want to build this. Or I want to build this, but I'm not interested in drawing. I don't want to explore this. So I'm like, when I see 2-year-old child, they are so curious about life. They want to experiment everything. They're crystal clear about what they want to do, what they don't want to do. What happens in this 14, 15 years, that when the child is reaching to college, suddenly they are saying, ye trend chal raha hai, to ye karenge. So there is something definitely missing in this years. Jo ye pura, you just imagine it like a cord. There is a cord, no?
Yeah.
With your hobbies or passion and everything that is connected with you. But something happens in this process कि ये cord cut हो जा रहा है. अभी वो क्या है that I didn't know. So I started when my son was in the womb with the parenting courses because I had this question that how do I parent him differently. So from there I started realizing, okay, every child is born intelligent, every child is extremely curious, and all we have to do is nurture their curiosity. And one course after another course after another, and I used to travel a lot because of the courses, because in my city there were no lot of exposures. And I was also, because in a very questioning mode, not everybody was able to answer my questions.
Yeah.
So they would send me to other things. They would send me that. That's how I started, my journey. And then I ended up with this beautiful community who I feel is at the core of my philosophy also, which is Arohi Open Learning. And there, my gurus like completely shifted the way I look at childhood and children. And the kind of insights that we discussed and the way I opened my doors and windows of the school thoughts that I was coming with were phenomenal.
Wow.
And that was a community of open learners like unschoolers. So there I started meeting a lot of unschooling families, and I used to travel there because it was in South and I'm from Gujarat. So I remember my son is like 1 year, 1.5 years, and I used to travel 36 hours in a train just to reach there, along with him. But I feel now I was very hungry. I was so determined that, if something is not working out in favor of a child, I would definitely don't want to do it. But at the same time, I need to know what is the alternative, right? So if I'm not sending my child to school, then how other people who have already walked on this path have walked on this path.
Exactly.
So then I started meeting a lot of unschooling families, and then I think COVID also hit. In that also, when my son was, I think 3.5 or something, a lot of unschooling family meetups used to happen online. So I used to listen to their stories. Then I started calling them up and doing more courses to understand the psychology and all of those aspects, but at the same time also empowering myself with the right set of reference points. As I mentioned, that I wanted to see how do they live, because I'm sure everybody goes through failure. Everybody goes through those phases where things are not working out. How do they deal with it? And one of the child in that journey also shared very beautiful sharing that opened more doors and windows. So that girl was an open learner, like unschooler up to age 7, 8, and then suddenly she said that because open learning for us is not about child having a freedom of what the child wants to do. No, it's more like you become accountable and responsible for your own interest areas, your own projects. So it's a responsibility, more of a responsibility and less of a freedom.
Okay.
Both of these things come hand in hand.
Hmm.
And this girl was sharing that, I don't want to think what I really want to do. I don't want to, because we asked this question, what is it that really interests you? What do you want to do? Which kind of projects? You have to think for yourself. That's how you raise a thinker, right? But then that girl was crystal clear that I don't want to do this thinking part. It's very tiring. So then she said, I want to go to school. And there were 3-4 months of discussion that happened with the parent and the child, because parents were fully aligned with this. Okay, I don't want to send my daughter to school. But the daughter said that, no, I don't want to do this. I want to wear the school uniform. I want to get the bag and I want to go. And then eventually, like, parents said, okay, fine, this is what you feel like doing. Let's go ahead. And she joined the school. And she had some 3-4 options, and they said, okay, she already knows so much, so she can right away join 3rd standard or something. Aisa kuch to tha, some age. And she joined the school, and after 6 months, she felt, okay, I'm not enjoying the school much. She left the school. You see? So that's where a lot of doors and windows open, that you understand all of these are just choices.
Yeah.
When you want to do something, you figure a way out. If you want to go back to system, you will find a school who will accept your, and see, it's when you are also in this unschooling path, as you're responsible for your own projects and interest and everything that you are building up, you build your portfolios.
Correct.
So from day one, like if you see our life also, there is a huge level of documentation that we have done of our son's journey. And that documentation is a reminder for us that the child is constantly learning and doing so much. I still don't know how my son learned reading. I still don't know how he calculates, but he's doing all